is up, guys? This is Joel 2 Sound, and we are back with another podcast, and we are joined with one, the only, Markus Lockhart. Alright, so what we're going to go ahead and do is you're going to introduce yourself, say what you like, who you are, you know, social media, all that good stuff.
Okay, my name is Markus. You can follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, at Markus Lockhart. I'll be in the link below. Oh, what else? Oh.
Who are you and what do you like to do?
I'm a very outgoing person, outspoken person. I speak my mind. I'm very blunt with everyone. I'm very temperamental. How would you say that?
Yep. You have a hot temper.
Hot temper.
Something like that.
I'm a huge fan of combat sports, and I really like WWE.
Okay. Now, so what got you into combat sports?
Well, it all started. What?
You're talking to me. You're talking to me.
Okay. Well, it all started with a woman by the name of Ronda Rousey.
It's a woman?
Yes, this woman. Really surprising. Really surprising. Really surprising. Well, I didn't get into it until about 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, I just saw that this name just kept on popping up on headlines left and right, like CBS Sports, ESPN. Ronda Rousey submits this woman in 14 seconds, this, and that. I was like, what's all this hype about?
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2015, she had an appearance at WrestleMania 31 with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and it was really cool.
Okay.
So then from then on, I just started to get into UFC. And then I just kind of fell in love with.
So you read her book too? I remember you were reading her book at one point.
It's my favorite book of all time.
Which is called?
My Fight, Your Fight.
Okay. So another person that I know that you look up to is Cardi B also.
Yes.
Right. And when you talk about these combat sports that you're into, you're also into a lot of the diva stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the question I have is, where do you draw the inspiration from women? What is it about the women figures, these powerful? The video was yawning, kind of crazy. But what inspiration or why is it that these powerful women are your idols and the people you look up to compared to like the men wrestler or like the men rappers? Like, what is it about them that
Well, I feel like especially in today's society, women actually have an opportunity to be looking at equally to men.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing how especially all women in any position, I feel like they can start from nowhere and actually get to a certain degree of where they want to go. For example, Cardi B, like we brought up.
Stripper.
She was a stripper. She was from the low of the low. She was barely able to pay her bills. She was.
Well, I mean, if you're a stripper, you don't.
Well,
struggle.
I'm saying like going into stripping, she hard.
Okay.
She was broke. You're not very rich when you're a stripper until after a good amount of time of doing it.
Okay.
But basically, like just seeing certain women like basically create nothing into something is one of my like. Just kind of like makes me very inspired, especially by, and it's not just all women. I feel like it's just certain women that I see in my eyes. Like, I don't know, the Bella twins. I'm huge fans of them. They have created this empire in about 10 years, and about 7 years ago when they first, or 10 years ago when they first started in WWE, they never got the chance. They were given 2-minute matches. So look forward 10 years. They have their own wine company. They have their own clothing company. They're starring in movies and TVs, and they have morning show interviews, and it's just really cool seeing that. And then Cardi B, she rose from nothing, became probably the top hip-hop artist in today's society.
Well, she is because she won the, okay, so just a side note for the Grammy. So
okay,
wait,
we should do a whole different conversation for the Grammys.
All right. Okay, so the women thing. So you say that don't think that when I talk in this whole thing that I'm coming down on you or anything or whatever, but it's just like I just want to pick it apart. So now with, you say the women, that's the reason why you get into it is because, or you look up to them is because they come from nothing and they, you know, blah, blah, blah.
Because if you think about it, before they started, most women aren't really looked at how men are looked at.
Okay.
Like they get.
So they already have the
Exactly. They already have the disadvantage, especially in America. But I feel like going forward now, they're starting to have that equal opportunity.
So then let me throw this at you. Let's say that there's somebody that came from the Bronx. I'm guessing that's where she's from, right? There's a black guy. He already has a disadvantage because he's black, right? And he's broke. Comes up. Now he's famous and rich. Why don't you look up to that guy compared to?
Well, there are a few men that I do look up to. Like I wouldn't say. I would say Offset.
Well, if you say Offset, Jesus
I wasn't gonna
Christ.
say.
I knew it. And why do you look up to Offset?
I said I was.
Because
I
what?
said I was going to.
No, but why would you? Because he has that connection to Cardi B.
No,
now,
hold on.
Okay,
I said I would. You know, he did all the cheating and everything. So I don't know, but I would say someone more of like more men that I would look up to are men of like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, because they were actually homeless, started from nothing. And they worked very hard he worked very hard to actually make it to the point he's in. Every single month he's dropping a new movie. He has 3 kids. He's probably one of the most successful men in this country or in the world.
Nope.
And it's just really cool. Especially, I think my favorite thing about not just women, but I think people in general, when they start from nothing and then they rise to being probably the richest or probably the most financially financially well. That's what I look up to the most, because I'm someone that I've been working in the food industry for about a year now, and I've started with minimum wage, and now I'm starting to make my way up. So it's just inspiration to me that, hey, you know, maybe, you know, you're not making your $20 an hour now, but maybe next year you might, or maybe in the next year you might make $1 million from, I don't know, starring in a movie show or TV show or something.
Yeah, and it's good to think of it like that in steps, because it's not just, oh yeah, I'm in an extra $2. It's like, this is the next milestone. But
Yes.
Like, what do you think that, like, what's next for Cardi B and all these other people? Like, do you think that women are equal now? Or do you think that it's almost there?
That's kind of, well, I think that's kind of a hard question, because I don't think at any point in time there's going to be, I think it goes with the same, I hate to bring in another topic and throw it in there, but I think that's the same thing with racism. Racism, it's never going to go away, regardless of how you think or how you speak or how many people say, oh, I don't see color, this and that. Those are going to be the same people that say, oh, I don't see gender, I don't see this and that. People are automatically, if you look at posters of movies and stuff, and you don't see, if you don't see a male or you don't see a woman, people are gonna think a certain way. There's always gonna be
somebody's offended about everything.
Exactly. There's always gonna be some sort of mindset as to something. But I think when we officially get to, the point where it's not necessary. I think when we get to the point when it's just, oh, Cardi B's the first ever solo female rapper to win album of the year. I think when it just gets to the point where it's just Cardi B won rap album of the year. I think when we get to that point where it's not necessarily first female, or it's first black female, or it's the first,
because then it categorizes you down to one thing.
Exactly. But so I think when we get to that, we're not at that point yet, and I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon. I think it's going to need a little bit more work going forward, especially like categorizing certain people into certain categories. That's what I feel like is the basis of this country, and what kind of messes everyone's head up.
Yeah. I mean, because I thought okay, so now we can talk about the Grammys. We'll start transitioning to the Grammys. So something that when I was listening to this podcast that inspires me, it's the Brilliant Idiots podcast. So what they said is, basically, the Grammys comes down to numbers. If you have made the biggest numbers that year, that's who's getting what. It's not about pure talent. And I'm going to be honest, I don't like Cardi B. But that's just my opinion. Just like if I said a rapper that I like, you'll probably say the same thing. There's nothing wrong with having a disagreeing opinion. But how do you, instead of the Grammys, so this is what they said, is that the Grammys is more like you're just the numbers. You're getting an award for being the best that year in numbers. So why is there an award show if you already know who's going to win?
Well, it's not necessarily, so I think I kind of have to correct you on that. So how it goes is if you get nominated based on streams nowadays is how it works. So based on the numbers, that's how you get nominated. You don't just win based on the numbers. If that was true, Cardi would have won every category she was nominated for. Because she was a very dominant. She's been very dominant on the charts ever since she dropped Bodak Yellow. But how it works is it's called the Recording Academy. They have a certain amount of people or a certain they have a certain
judges.
Group. They have a certain group of judges that judge each category and say, "Oh, this one should have won out." They vote on each subject or on each topic. Hey, Casey Musgraves had a better album than Drake. This, and that. That's how they do it. That's how they vote. And whoever gets the most votes, that's the person that wins that category. So, I think that at the end of the day, it kind of does come down to talent. It does come down to lyrical ability, because these Recording Academy judges or voters or whoever you want to call them, they're not just going to sit there. I don't think that they just sit there and just listen to half of an album or half of a song and be like, okay,
don't like them.
They
Next.
get it. Yeah.
Thank
they
you,
get
next. So let me throw. Now this is another thing I want to throw at you, because I'm trying in this episode I'm trying to break you of your idols. Not trying to steer you away, but throw a scenario at you that'll make you think about it. Okay, so XXX Tentacion. He was one of my favorite artists and still is to this day. He's still putting out music even after he's dead. What is, just a quick answer, what is your feelings towards him? Just a sentence, if you could say, this is how I feel about him.
I don't think I could give just a sentence.
So say it. What do you feel?
I think he was talented, but to a certain extent. Like, I don't think it was necessarily to the point where it was like all the uproar that he got. But he didn't get that much of uproar until after he died. So my thing is that I feel like certain people just kind of overrated him, and then that kind of like hyped him up. And I know there's a certain song out there that's by I think his name's Lil Perp. I don't remember, but he said in the song he goes, he'll still probably be alive if you didn't gas him up, if y'all didn't gas him up. So I feel like people kind of gassed him up, like thinking that he was this god or something, thinking that he was better than everyone else. And
did you follow him on social media?
I don't think I did.
How many albums did you listen to?
I listened to one.
Which is?
I forgot the one, but I think it was the one with the braids. He had the braids on his head, and he was looking down.
It's not an album.
It was a song, wasn't it? He had one album where he had braids on it on the cover, and I saw that. And I listened to it. I gave it a shot, but I just.
So X, he came from nothing. He rose to fame through SoundCloud. So he grinded through that way, right? Cardi B, on the other hand, she was a stripper, was blessed with her talents and her body to build that, right? So she built her money up to do that. X came from absolutely nothing and built up. Got in a lot of trouble. He went through some detention centers. He went through a much harder struggle. Now, I can't speak on Cardi B because I don't know about her. Just like you can't speak on X for that. But so now that you know your section, I know my section. Why is it that X, even though all the allegations, because that's what they were allegations about all this whole woman beating stuff, and even after the clips came out after it had not been proven guilty. So I'm sure there's things that Cardi B says behind the scenes that are very questionable, or opinions that she has that are very questionable. And if there was recordings of her talking to her people, like if she had someone in her clique that was recording her secretly, and out came something like, "Oh, we don't mess with the blah blah blah," or "I effed up this one chick," blah blah blah.
I highly doubt she would ever say that.
I'm just saying, if she did, how would that affect your feeling towards that person? Because I'm sure. So, okay, let me ask.
I'm just saying, I know that she wouldn't do anything like that because she represents a lot of part of the culture.
Well,
and then
did you think that Offset would cheat?
Yes.
No. I'm just saying.
Did I think they would get back together? I left no comment on that because it's up to her and what makes her happy. And then the other thing is back to what you said. You brought up that X was... What would you say? You brought up that X where he struggled a lot and he
went through his own things compared to what she did too.
And he had to climb and get to that point.
Yep.
Well... You brought up the point that he was in detention centers. That's
why I asked that. Why wouldn't you look up to somebody like that? If that was a woman that went through that situation and she beat up a man, there's still
people out there there's a whole lot of women out there that are rising from nothing, that are coming from nothing. But I don't follow them. I follow them based on their talent. Or I don't follow their career. I follow them based on their talent. Like, I genuinely think that lyrically, Cardi is one of the best rappers on this planet right now.
So then if Cardi B was in the same shoes that X was, she was caught up in the same charges and came from the same background,
it would be a different story.
You think so?
Yes, very.
Okay.
But then the other thing is Nicki Minaj, for example. I'm not the biggest fan of her. I don't really like
She came from where you came from. Red Lobster. And guess what? Where is she now?
Anyway, so she
you see? She had more of a similar background than what Cardi B had with you. So how would you not have more of a connection?
Cardi actually worked in a grocery store. But we'll continue.
See,
anyways, so my thing is, it's not just women that I look up to. It's just anyone that has a good story and not necessarily a good background, but as long as they are talented and going forward with their life, they bring up that positivity. Rather than just like I'm not into that. Like
Well, that's why I asked. Did you listen to any other albums?
I listened to a few songs. If I said that, I listened to a few songs, and then to the point that they're releasing music after he's dead. Think about it. If you, God forbid, if you died right now, would you like me to release videos that are on your computer right now?
There was a reason why it was made. There's teams of people that were there with him when they were making it.
I don't know, but he still had, with an artist like him, he had that, let me put this down. He had that creative control. Okay. So he had, I guarantee you, he was the type of person that was like, I want my album cover to look like this. Of course, yeah. I wanted to represent this. And do you think he was picky. Do you think, exactly, and I love artists that are like that. And I give him props for that, and I actually genuinely like that. But my thing is he's not here to say, oh, I want the song to end here, I want this beat to end here, I want the clap to be here, I want the bass drop to be here. He wasn't there, so I don't think, and it goes for Drake in that Michael Jackson song, which I really love, that's on his album. He wasn't here to say, oh, I want Drake on this song. I think that when someone dies, that you should kind of leave what they left, leave it alone.
Well, I'll tell you why the music and everything dropped after he died, because X,
unless they say,
but X did not specifically tell his mother, "Hey, put out the stuff." And who is the heir of his empire? His mother. How close was he with his mother?
Very close.
Very close, because his mom's name is tatted on his chest. Was tatted on his chest. So they were very close, and that empire that he built on his own, and with the team of people that were around him, they released it because his mother said, this is what I want out. Nothing would be released without his mother's consent. And the reason why I say that is because he wrote a will. He was 1 year younger than me. He wrote a will for himself because he knew he didn't have much time left on this earth. Wrote a will to his mom and his brothers that everything that he had, anything he owned, but that includes recordings, because that's his talent. And he signed a something $1 million contract with the brand he was with, or the recording studio he was with, before he died. At the end of the day, it was allowed to because his mom did that. And his mom, or he just had a kid. I don't know if you heard about that.
Mm-hmm.
But X had a kid with this woman. So there's that too. He's got mouths to feed. He has his girlfriend that he left, his kid that he now has, and his mother, who I don't know what she really does, but there's people that he has to feed. He has little brothers too. So he's the big bread maker. He was the money maker. And if I had to assume, I wouldn't have my mom working. You know, I wouldn't have mom working if I was at that point. So all my money would be with my mom. I wouldn't let her work. So my thing is that empire and everything that she released is because she needed the money to support, you know, blah 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 blah. He left her $1 million house in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Right? How are you gonna pay for that? You gonna sell something that your son bought? You gotta maintain that. There's taxes. There's all this other stuff. You're gonna sell the house that your dead son bought for you?
Whoa.
He bought it cash. You have to maintain that. So how do you keep the money?
He could. I don't know. I don't understand that.
No. I feel that, but at the same time, Tupac and Biggie, they both died. They both had unreleased music, and all the music that we received from both of them, ungodly. It would be, this world would not be the world it is if we didn't have the music that was released after Biggie was dead and after Tupac was dead. So if Cardi B drops dead, God forbid, right now, you know, leaves her kid behind with nobody to take care of her. You know, I'm sure there's people around that are taking care of his kid, X's kid, and I'm sure there would be people taking care of, you know, culture and everything like that. But if she drops right now, God forbid, and she had 2-3 albums in the cut, right? Would you be okay with that never being released? And the people will, your team would be around.
It really just depends on how she felt about it. I don't know how she genuinely feels about that, but yeah. So,
that's what it comes down to, is, I guess, the opinions of the fans,
of the artist.
The artist and the fans, because that's who they did it for. You know, there's me. After he passed, I was devastated, right? Because he was one of my top. It was him and Kanye West at the time. Both of them were top. So when you lose an artist that you followed and you loved and you watched them on social media, it was hard. And then their stuff is gone. Their life is gone. You'll never hear any new music after it runs out. So, I don't know where it was supposed to lead from this, but it was like he went through a hard time. Cardi B went through a hard time. Why would he not be given the same chance as her? They both went through struggles to make it to where they did. And I know you have an opinion about him, but that was prior to you seeing any of the social media or hearing any of the albums, and you judged the songs, right? That's not the only songs he made. He made love songs. You know, he made R&B, rock one. Those rock ones were amazing. It just depends on how you felt, and he had every emotion ever in all of his albums. But I know that you could argue, because I don't like Cardi B, but you can argue the same thing, that hey, she has this, and she has these people that were with her. You know, I don't know. I mean, tell me how you feel.
I just felt like this became an X documentary.
No, I was doing the same thing that you had.
Yeah, but you were asking me.
Okay, so go ahead.
Go ahead and say what?
I don't know. What do you feel like? Like, I'm asking the difference between the two. They're both struggles, right? Your struggle with Cardi B and X's struggles. Why would you not look up to X? Would you look up to X?
No.
So that's what I'm asking. Why?
Because you brought it up. Cardi never had those. Of course, she said multiple times that she's had those. She's gotten in trouble at school a lot, this and that, which I do all the time. But you said he was in detention centers,
Hmm?
was in jail at one point.
Nope.
Didn't
Detention center.
He had a mugshot, didn't
Going into a detention center.
he? Well, I don't remember Cardi ever having to go to a detention center. And if anything, her teachers loved her. She just got into trouble. She didn't put her head in the right position. Like, his music never spoke to me, if that makes sense.
Okay. So what is it about Cardi B's music that speaks out to you?
Well, if you heard one of her songs, what was the name of it? I forgot what the name of it was, because it wasn't. It was on her first, or I think it was on her second mixtape. It was a song where she was basically like, it wasn't released on her mixtape, but it was a part of her physical mixtape.
Mm-hmm.
She was basically like, I want to take care of my sister, I want to take care of my mother, I don't want to be running around on these streets, this and that anymore. I want to take care of them, I want to take care of my family. To be able to do something like that and take care of your family, like, that's like a big time goal of mine. But like, I just don't think that X's music stood out to me, and I just don't think that the talent in my eye was there. Like, if you were to sit here and hold a pedestal and compare the two, I would pick Cardi over him, because it just wasn't, like, lyrically, it just wasn't there for me. It never spoke to me. I never could relate to his music.
So what genres does Cardi B cover?
Rap, R&B, and a little bit of pop.
Okay. So why wasn't it like, because he touched all of them? He's done country, he's done rock.
Because it just, his songs did not lyrically touch me. Like,
What lyrics didn't?
I'm saying whatever I did hear, it didn't touch me. So,
You know what he talked about? Like, which ones did you listen to that you heard?
I heard like Moonlight. I've heard Moonlight. Don't really like it. There's another song. What's the other one where he was screaming like the whole entire song?
There's a few. Regardless, would you, let's see. So to tie back to the Grammys, what about her? Like, why do you think that Cardi B didn't win the rest of them? Why do you think the judges didn't vote for her?
Because I felt like they should have given her an award, and if they were going to give her an award, they probably would have given her a rap album. But I think that, in my opinion, I think that she shouldn't have won rap album. I think she should have won album of the year, because that album wasn't just an album that you could listen to at the time that she released it. She released the album in April. One of the songs became Song of the Summer, and then every other song you could listen throughout the whole entire year, and still listen to it to this day. And I guarantee you, people will still listen to it decades going further.
What is it that's this whole offense era? When is the end of that going to be? Or is it just going to be a continuous thing until everybody gets their own thing?
I think it'll be continuous until everyone realizes, hey, not all opinions matter.
What do you mean?
As in, not what everyone says is going to always necessarily matter. Like, someone could comment on something you post, but it's not always going to matter.
And do you think that social media is what built this thing?
Definitely.
Because there's so many outlets to let it out and be, have your own opinion.
Yeah.
Are you one of the people that comment on stuff that you don't like? Do you comment on somebody's post?
Never.
I'm the same way.
If X was still alive, I wouldn't be commenting under his stuff, saying, hey, this. that song wasn't that good.
Even when you like stuff, do you?
Of course, when I like stuff, like I'll support. If I'm supporting someone, I'm gonna support them all the way. But if it's someone that I don't like, I just don't mind them any business.
So why can't everybody have that same thing that me and you have? Like, because it's the same thing. I'll comment something positive, put that out in the air. But why do you feel like there's those people who they go out of their way to troll, Cardi B or Nikki Bella or whoever, or even Ronda Rousey? Because I know that they were, roasting her for God knows what. Because everybody makes fun of her for something, or why do you feel like people think that it's okay to do that?
I feel like it's people's own insecurities. Mainly what it is. Like, I see the type of people that are commenting under some of my favorite people's Instagrams and stuff, and you go look at their bio picture, you go tag on their account, and
they're a ghost.
Exactly, you don't see that they're on that same level as the person that they're commenting under.
Yeah. Well, I just think it's funny where we've gotten with this social media thing, because if anything, it was built for us to communicate our thoughts and opinions. But I don't know why there's so many sensitive people that they feel like they have to be insecure about themselves and throw it onto other people.
Mm-hmm.
But have you felt that in any way on your social media? Like, have you ever gotten any negative stuff where they're just like, wow, why are you posting that?
Not really. Even if someone does or has, I just kind of
gone.
Yeah. I don't mind it, no business.
So 2019 is that year for you. This is gonna be a huge year for you. You're graduating.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean for you now?
It's very big to me because I feel like being in almost 13 years in public education, in the public education system, it's a big deal to finally graduate from that and move on with life.
What's next?
Well, college, of course.
That's a fun thing.
And
shout out to Rodney, because he's still in it, and he's not happy that he's still in it. Well, he's happy, but What school? Palm Beach State.
And
then what?
Probably transfer over to a university somewhere.
So how are you gonna pursue the what was it that you said, the sports, your mixed something sports, the
Mixed martial arts?
Yeah, well, you said something at the beginning.
I just said that I'm into it.
But are you gonna get into that? What's your career goal?
To become a WWE champion.
But you have to be, a superstar first, right? So your superstar would be a goal too? Gotcha. Well, what are we doing for your birthday, by the way? I haven't even asked.
I would like to
because I don't know if we're planning anything yet.
I would like to either go to WrestleMania in New York or go to the Bahamas for a 4-day cruise.
Why 4 days and not 3 or 5?
Well, I'd like to go a whole entire week, but that'd be too expensive. But I really want to go to the Bahamas because I haven't been there before.
And that's the mainland of our people. What else can I ask you about? And that's... I don't know. Never mind. I was going to say, I feel if you give it a chance, you could like eggs. You don't think so? I tried. Is there anything else you got to say?
Nope.
Well, you were a lot of fun. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching the video. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and please be sure to share. This is Joel 2 Sound. We are back with another podcast. Marcus, go ahead and shout out your stuff one more time. Again, just because people like listening to it at the end.
At Markus Lockhart on all social media.
All right, guys. Peace.